As a bonus round, my second biggest fear would be the creeper, because if the creeper wants you, there's basically nothing you can do about it unless you movie slashers you definitely cannot survive by Mr. Unnerving. And I love horror movies. I'm something of a horror fan myself. But yeah, you already know the original is gonna be in the description below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hype up the video. And without further ado, let's get it!
Horror movies are filled with
Spooky.
killers, but not all slashers are created equal. Some are just ordinary humans with knives, others are something far worse. Unstoppable
I
forces
don't
that
see how you
continue
let
hunting no matter
Ghostface
how
get
far
you.
you run, how hard you
Now,
fight,
Michael
or how
Myers, on the other
carefully you
hand,
prepare. These are
he's
killers that have
like...
left behind mountains of bodies and
Oh
some of
yeah,
the
Art the
highest kill
Clown, though.
counts
I
in
don't
horror
even think he
history.
counts as a
In this
slasher.
video,
He's
we'll
like a
be taking a
demon.
look at movie slashers
That's
you
like calling
realistically
Deadites
cannot
slashers.
survive. We'll break down their abilities, hunting methods,
You
strengths,
literally cannot
weaknesses,
survive
and
Jason.
most importantly, whether an average person would have any chance of making it out alive. From supernatural revenants
Wait,
and
does Freddy
seemingly
count?
immortal murderers to killers.
Oh, God. Okay, so everybody like bags on Chucky. Everybody bags on Chucky as a slasher. But outside of the whole element of surprise thing, he is canonically as strong as a grown man. So, like, you still have a fight on your
That can
hands.
appear almost anywhere at any time. These are the slashers that turn survival into near impossibility. And unlike monsters, aliens, or giant creatures, slashers are often far more personal. They stalk you, they study you, they wait for
Leatherface.
the perfect moment to strike.
Leatherface,
And once they've
he's not
decided
that big
you're
of
the
a threat.
target, escaping becomes a lot
Now,
easier said than
Jason in the
done.
bathroom with
So with
you,
that being
that is
said,
a
lock
major
your
threat.
doors, check behind you, and let's take a look at movie slashers you cannot survive.
Locked doors literally don't work for like 90% of slashers. Subject 1. Who is it? Oh, Art the Clown? Yeah. Is it weird? Is it weird that I'd rather 1v1 Art the Clown instead of like 1v1ing Pennywise? Because I mean, at this point, they're both like demons, but Art the Clown, he'll just like do extreme violence. Pennywise, he tries to break you psychologically.
Art the Clown from Terrifier is the perfect example of a slasher you realistically do not want to encounter. While many horror killers simply murder their victims and move on, Art
If you
takes
get
pleasure
to
in
him
inflicting as
before
much
he
suffering as
becomes a
possible
demon,
before the kill.
you could
In fact,
probably win.
death is often the
If you
least
get him before
horrific
he's a
outcome when
demon.
dealing with him. His victims are frequently subjected to prolonged torture, mutilation, and psychological torment, making him one of the most sadistic slashers in
See, I
modern
would still
horror.
go through
At
that.
first glance, Art
I would
appears to
still
be
rather go
nothing
through
more than a
that than
thin
whatever
man dressed
Pennywise
as a
has.
clown. He wears a black and white costume, paints his face pale with exaggerated black features, and carries a trash bag filled with various weapons. But beneath the
Isn't he
costume
from
is
like a
something far
short
more
film?
disturbing. As the
And then the
films
short film was
progress,
like
his
so
appearance
popular
becomes
that they gave him
increasingly
his own movie.
unnatural, with rotting teeth, sunken facial features, unnerving eyes, and
He's
increasingly
a
demonic
demon.
traits that reflect his supernatural nature. What separates Art from many other slashers is his personality.
He wasn't
He isn't
supernatural at
silent because
first.
he's emotionless. Quite the opposite. Art is incredibly expressive. He mocks, taunts, laughs, applauds,
Well, hello
and
there.
entertains himself through his attacks. He treats murder like a performance. Whether he's torturing a victim, setting up a gruesome display, or silently celebrating his latest kill, everything is done with a twisted sense of humor. That unpredictability makes him even more dangerous because there are no rules governing his behavior.
Kick
And
him in a junk.
unfortunately, fighting
Kick
back
him in a
doesn't
junk.
guarantee
Kick him in a
survival.
junk.
Before gaining
Is that a
supernatural
Tommy gun?
abilities, Art was
Did
already
he just pull
incredibly
out a Tommy
dangerous.
gun?
He possessed remarkable strength, extreme pain tolerance, and an ability to continue attacking despite severe injuries. But after his
Cut off his legs, cut off his arms, and then treat him so that he doesn't like bleed out and become a demon. And then basically he's just like a crawler from Call of Duty Black Ops, the zombies. If he doesn't die, that means no demonic powers, so as long as you keep him alive, you're good.
resurrection, the threat level increased dramatically. Art gained superhuman strength, allowing him to tear limbs apart, crush skulls, rip through flesh with his bare hands, and overpower most people effortlessly. He can survive gunshots, stabbings,
Wait,
severe
but at this
trauma, and
point...
even decapitation. At various points, he regenerates lost body parts, reattaches his own head,
Well,
and
but
continues functioning despite injuries that would instantly kill any normal human
if he has
being. His
demonic
kill count
powers,
alone
that means
demonstrates how
demons
difficult he is
exist,
to
which means
stop.
I can make a
Throughout
deal
the
for some
Terrifier
demonic
films,
powers myself.
Art leaves behind dozens upon
That's where
dozens
my
of
mind
victims,
goes.
many of whom had opportunities to escape, fight back or defend themselves. Yet time and time again, he manages to close the distance, overwhelm them, and even turn simple encounters into extended nightmares. His willingness to use firearms, blunt weapons, traps, explosives, and anything else available makes him far
He
more
has like
versatile
really
than the
pronounced
average
cheekbones.
slasher. So what are your
Those are like
chances of
really
surviving Art
pronounced
the Clown?
cheekbones.
Honestly, they're extremely
Not high,
poor.
not high.
Unlike killers such as Michael Myers, who often focuses on specific targets, Art appears willing to kill almost anyone he encounters. He doesn't require a motive. He doesn't need a reason. And if he becomes interested in you, he'll often stalk and terrorize you long before the actual attack begins. Even if you manage to injure him, his supernatural durability allows him to keep coming. And because he enjoys prolonged suffering, a
I thought
quick
that was
death
Santa
isn't
for a
something you can
second, but
count
now I
on.
know it's
But
Art.
perhaps the most terrifying thing about Art is that he
That is
genuinely
not the
enjoys what
Santa
he's
you want to
doing.
see on
He's
Christmas
not
night.
driven by revenge. He's not following a curse. He's not carrying out a mission. Art hurts people because he loves it. And when a killer enjoys a hunt that much, survival becomes
Oh lord. Why did it take you so long to get out of the door? Why did it take you so long to get out of the house? Why were you just fumbling like long enough for him to run downstairs and just like swing an axe into your back? And look, if I'm in that situation and the door is just not opening for whatever reason, I'm jumping headfirst out of the window. I'm not even gonna wait to open a window, I'm just jumping straight through it. You gotta have that will to live. You gotta have that will to live, and you, ma'am, did not, because I am not letting a locked door keep me in the same area as Art the Clown.
a lot harder than simply running away.
Who's next? Who's next? Oh, wait, does the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers count as a slasher? Does the Creeper count as a slasher? Because if he's on his list, you're done. There's no getting away from the Creeper. Unless you somehow wait out that 20-day period, that 23-day period, there's no getting away from the Creeper. So, if you don't know this about me, I actually love the Child's Play movies, and I refuse to call them Chucky movies. No, they are the Child's Play movies. And my aunt is the one who actually got me into them. She loved all of them. I used to watch them on repeat with her, like, when I was small. And look, all I'm gonna say is, do not underestimate Chucky. Do not underestimate Charles Lee Ray, the Bay Harbor Butcher or Strangler. Something like that. But yeah, do not underestimate this man. And now that he can split his soul, yeah, this is bad.
Chucky from the Child's Play franchise is a perfect example of why appearances
Thank you for calling it Child's Play instead of Chucky. Thank you for calling it Child's Play. Plus, in the Child's Play movies, he was like way more dastardly. He was way more dastardly. Once we got into the Chucky segments, it kind of became like a dark comedy. But the Child's Play movies, Chucky was way more
can be
dastardly.
deceiving. At first glance, he looks almost harmless. A small plastic doll standing barely over 2 feet tall with bright red hair, freckles, and a cheerful smile. Most people's first instinct would be to laugh rather than to run. Unfortunately, that underestimation is exactly what has allowed Chucky to build one of the largest body counts in slasher history. Behind the toy-like appearance is the soul of Charles Lee Ray, a sadistic serial killer whose cruelty and determination have made him one of horror's most persistent murderers. Unlike many slashers who rely primarily on brute force,
Yeah,
Chucky
Chucky
survives
rarely
because
gives
of
up.
his intelligence. He
And
is
even if he gives
manipulative,
up, he'll be back
patient, and
later.
incredibly resourceful. Despite being trapped inside a doll's body, he
And he
possesses the
doesn't need
strength of an
batteries.
adult human, allowing him to overpower victims far
Oh, he
larger than
mentioned the strength.
himself.
He
Over the
mentioned the
years, he
strength.
has used virtually anything as a weapon: knives, firearms, chainsaws, explosives, electricity.
But has he used a nuke? But has he used a nuke? In the next Child's Play movie, I need to see Chucky use a nuke. And that's how I know it's real.
Poison, traps, vehicles, and even other people. If there's an object nearby, Chucky can usually find a way to turn it into a murder weapon. What makes him especially dangerous is his personality. Chucky isn't simply a killer. He
No, but
genuinely
he
enjoys
becomes more
killing.
human
He's
as
arrogant,
long as he's like in
foul-mouthed,
his
sadistic,
ooh.
and completely devoid of empathy.
Oh,
He
this is
takes
from
pleasure
3.
in
This is
tormenting
from
his
Child's Play
victims
3. I remember
psychologically
this.
before murdering them, and often
Because
goes
he
out of
tried
his
to
way
go
to make
into
deaths as
the
cruel or
little boy's
humiliating as
body. I
possible.
mean, he does that
Even
in every
worse,
movie,
he
but
holds
oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I just realized what I just said and that sounded terrible. He's trying to go into a little boy's body. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to a certain island, honestly. No, that's terrible. I shouldn't joke about that. But yeah.
grudges for decades, and will relentlessly pursue anyone who has wronged him, making escape a temporary solution at best. And then there's the biggest problem. Chucky simply refuses to stay dead. Throughout the franchise, he has been burned, blown apart, shredded, melted, decapitated, shot, dismembered,
You
crushed,
need to trap him.
exorcised,
You have
and
to trap
destroyed
him.
countless times.
Trap him
Yet
before he can
somehow he
split his
always
soul.
finds a way back. Through voodoo magic, soul transfers, possession, and later the ability to split his soul into multiple bodies, Chucky effectively
He mentioned it. He mentioned the soul splitting. Wait. Now, wait. This actually brings up a good question. Would the soul split katana from JJK work on Chucky? Like, if you take out one Chucky, would that, like, cascade into the other Chuckies because it's, like, soul damage? Or would it just only affect the one? That's actually really interesting now that I think about it.
transformed himself from a single killer into an ongoing supernatural threat. At one point, multiple Chucky dolls were operating simultaneously,
Wait, so wouldn't that
making it
mean
nearly
Chucky is,
impossible
like,
to
special
eliminate him
grade?
completely.
Chucky
Perhaps the
would be
most
special
terrifying
grade
aspect
then.
of Chucky is
But
how
then would he be
difficult
a
he is to
Shikigami?
identify initially. Unlike Michael Myers or Jason
Yeah,
Voorhees,
Chucky would
who are
probably be
immediately
a special
recognizable
grade
threats,
Shikigami.
Chucky can hide in plain
Or would he
sight.
be a
He's a
curse because
toy.
he's already
He can
dead?
sit motionless on a
So he would
shelf,
be a
in a
special
child's
grade curse.
bedroom, inside a store, or in the backseat of a car while waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Chucky versus Joe Goat. Who wins?
By the time any victims realize he's alive, he's already close enough to attack. Now, to be fair, Chucky does have weaknesses. His arrogance frequently causes problems for him, and physically he remains much smaller than most slashers. Strong adults who know
And
exactly what they're
he's
dealing with
actually,
can
like,
overpower
really
him.
loud.
Holy
Like,
water
Chucky will be really
exorcisms
loud
and certain voodoo
sometimes.
limitations have also proven effective at various points in the franchise. But the problem is that very few people
I
get that
mean, yeah, he has the
preparation
strength
time.
of a grown
Most
man, but
victims
he's
don't know
still,
Chucky
like, 3
exists
feet
until he's
tall.
already inside their
The,
home.
kid could have just stood up. Just stand up. For a level high? Yeah, no, I would say it's like medium high. I wouldn't say it's like purely high, but medium high. Depending on circumstance. Alright, who's next? Oh, Freddy? Oh my god. Oh, guys, I actually had a dream about Freddy. When I was younger, I had a dream, right? So while I was sleeping and dreaming, I was like dreaming that I was being chased by Freddy, right? But then I realized, oh wait, this is a dream. So then that means I could lucid dream. So I basically gave myself like Liu Kang level like fire control, like fire over my like arms and legs. And then I 1v1'd him and I won. But here's the thing about that. I distinctly remember in my dream, before I finished him off, he told me I would keep having this dream, and each time I fought him, it would get harder and harder, until he eventually won, and once he killed me, I would die in real life. Now, I woke up, still in the middle of the night, right? So I woke up and I was like, oh my god, that was weird. I was sweating. I go back to sleep. I have that exact dream again, different location, but I'm still fighting Freddy. And this time, the fight was actually harder. But I wake up again and I'm like, okay, that's weird. So then the third time, I actually like have this dream again. And this time it was like extreme diff. Like I barely won, got slashed up a lot. And even when I woke up, like I didn't have any marks on me, but like I felt pain in the places that I got slashed. So at that point, my conscious mind took over and I just decided to stay up all night. I did not go back to sleep after that. I knew it was like probably not gonna happen, but like on the off chance. I was like, I'm not risking it. But yeah, that's my Freddy Krueger story. And I was in middle school when this happened, by the way.
Few slashers are as completely unfair as Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street. Most killers have limitations. You
Well,
can
he's
run from
kind of
them,
fair
hide from
if you
them,
realize
lock your
that you can
doors,
lucid
call the
dream.
police. Freddy
If
removes
you
all
can
those
lucid dream, you
options
can fight
because
him
his
off.
hunting ground isn't in the real
But if
world.
you
It's your
lose,
own
and
mind.
then
And
Freddy likes
unfortunately,
to
sleeping is
sneak
an
you out of
option.
nowhere.
Physically,
Like he'll
Freddy is
turn a
instantly
corner and he'll just like be
recognizable.
there
His
stabbing
burned
you
and
already.
disfigured face, red and green striped sweater, fedora, and razor-clawed glove have become some
The
of the most
best time
iconic
to
images
wear
in
a
horror
striped
history. But the
sweater. Wait, did you guys know that Johnny Depp was actually in I think it was the first Nightmare on Elm Street? Yeah, it was the first one. Johnny Depp was
glove
actually in that
itself is
one.
honestly the least dangerous thing about him. The real threat comes from what Freddy can do once you're asleep. Within the dream world, he essentially becomes a god. He can reshape reality however he
Unless you
wants,
start
alter the
lucid dreaming.
environment, transform his
If you
victims,
lucid dream,
manipulate
that's a hard
gravity,
counter to
become
Freddy.
gigantic, appear
At that
anywhere
point, it's a battle
instantly,
of
and
wills,
weaponize a
and not
person's deepest
letting
fears
yourself get
against
killed.
them. The normal rules of survival simply stop applying. What makes Freddy especially terrifying is that he doesn't rush. Unlike many slashers who kill quickly,
He just like yeeted himself through the door. See, that's what the girl who was running away from Art the Clown early in the video should have done. Just like yeet yourself through a window. That's exactly what she should have done, and she wouldn't have got caught, at least not that easily. He would have probably pulled out a gun and shot her as she ran down the street. But that's better than an axe to the back.
Freddy often spends days or even weeks psychologically tormenting his targets before the final attack. He enjoys wearing people down mentally, forcing them to fear sleep itself. Victims become exhausted, paranoid, isolated, and increasingly desperate as they try to stay awake. And eventually, everyone loses that battle. No matter
If I remember right, they canonically made a drug to where you can like sleep without like dreaming. So honestly, drugs for the win. Mr. White was right.
how determined you are, the human body will eventually force you to sleep. And once you fall asleep, things become incredibly
Sure, but you
one-sided.
need to
Freddy
dream.
specifically targets
And
whatever
if you don't
frightens you
dream,
most. If you're afraid of heights, drowning, insects, fire, isolation, failure,
oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. So if Freddy materializes what you fear the most, that essentially means in my case I would have to 2v1 Freddy and Pennywise. I think I'm cooked at that point. I think I'm cooked at that point. I can fight one or the other. But if I have to 2v1 Freddy and Pennywise, chat, I think I'm cooked. Chat, I think I'm cooked. Hey, a fun thing for people who made it this far into the video. Okay, write down your biggest fear in the comment section. You already know mine. Mine is Pennywise. But I'm prepared for that fight. I've been preparing for that fight ever since I was a little girl. But let me know yours. And as a bonus round, my second biggest fear would be the creeper. Because if the creeper wants you, there's basically nothing you can do about it unless you can, like, run away long enough to run out the clock. But that's like, honestly, I would rather fight Maharaga than the creeper.
or death itself, he'll use those fears against you. The dream world is his personal playground, and because he controls it completely, escaping is almost impossible unless you know exactly what you're dealing with. Even
You
worse,
can lucid
injuries and
dream.
deaths suffered
Lucid
in
dream.
dreams
You might not
often
be able to
manifest
take
in reality,
you might not be able to
meaning
take him
dying in
down
the nightmare
permanently,
usually
but
means
you can
dying
fight him
for
off.
real. To
Lucid
make
dream.
matters worse, Freddy isn't just powerful, he's intelligent. To discover they're trapped inside it. That uncertainty makes every encounter feel hopeless because you can never be entirely sure what's real and what isn't. Now technically Freddy does have weaknesses. He can be pulled into the real world, where he loses many of his supernatural abilities and becomes vulnerable to conventional harm. Fire has also historically been associated with his defeats, and if people stop fearing him and remembering him, his power can diminish significantly. But realistically, very few victims possess the knowledge, preparation, or mental strength necessary to exploit those weaknesses before Freddy gets to
If you
them.
know you're dreaming, you can lucid dream. And if you lucid dream, that could put you on an even playing field. Worst case scenario, make a deal with a demon. Yeah, that's insane level. That is insane level. Alright, who's next? Who is next? Oh, Ghostface? I feel like this is one of the easier ones. Yeah, I feel like this is one
Unlike
of the
some
easier ones.
slashers, Ghostface isn't a supernatural monster. There are no magical powers, no curses, and no immortality. Every Ghostface is ultimately a human being hiding behind a mask. And yet, despite that fact, the Ghostface killers have collectively built one of the most impressive kill counts in slasher history. The reason is simple. They
Who
don't
gave him
rely
a
on
gun?
supernatural
Since when did he
abilities.
start
They
using
rely on
guns?
planning,
I haven't
deception,
watched,
and
like,
fear.
the
The
Scream
appearance of
movies in, like,
Ghostface has remained
forever.
largely
So,
unchanged throughout the
but when did he get a
franchise.
gun?
A flowing black robe, a hood, black gloves, and the iconic screaming white mask have become instantly recognizable symbols of horror. The costume
If you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to deal with Ghostface, always remember, one, there's always more than one Ghostface. So you shouldn't start relaxing until you take out at least two. But two, make sure you double tap. He always comes back, like, for one last, like, attack. Make sure you double tap him. And then, for good measure, cut off his head. But yeah. See, Kuro don't play no games. Kuro will survive a horror movie.
itself isn't unique and can be purchased by almost anyone, which is exactly what makes it so effective. Ghostface can be anyone, a friend, a classmate, a neighbor, a family member. The killer often spends weeks or even months blending into everyday
I
life
would be
before
so
revealing
pissed off
themselves
if,
when it's
like,
already too late. What
Ghostface
truly
was one of my
separates
family members
Ghostface
and they
from
were
other
coming after me.
slashers is the
Like, you
psychological
don't need the
aspect of the
mask. If
hunt.
you want a
Before the
1v1, we
attack
can have a
even begins,
1v1.
victims are frequently stalked, watched, manipulated, and terrorized through phone calls. Ghostface enjoys playing games with targets, asking questions, making threats, discussing
How
horror
did he
movies,
get the
and slowly
shotgun?
building
How did
tension
he
before
get the gun?
striking. The killer isn't simply trying to murder you. They want you afraid first. They want you to constantly be looking over your shoulder, wondering who around you can actually be trusted.
I feel
And
like this
honestly,
shouldn't
that's where
work in
Ghostface
America
becomes
because
far more
everyone has
dangerous than
guns.
people give them credit for. Most slashers announce their
I feel like this
presence.
should
You
like
know
if
when
this was
Jason is
England
coming.
or like the
You know when
UK,
Michael
that would
Myers
make
is
sense.
nearby.
But
Ghostface often attacks
sir, that is a bald-faced lie. You do not know when Michael Myers is coming. That's kind of his whole thing. He's slow, but he's silent. Like you will never see Michael coming. I mean, granted, with all of the cameras nowadays, you probably should, but at least back in those times, you don't see Michael coming. That's like the worst thing about
before
him.
you even realize you're part of the game. They gather information, learn routines, identify weaknesses, and use that knowledge to isolate victims. Many Ghostface killers have demonstrated surprising levels of intelligence, stealth, and adaptability, often anticipating where their targets will flee before they even make the decision themselves. Physically, Ghostface is still a serious threat. While each
What if
killer
someone
differs
decides to
slightly,
stand and
most
fight?
possess above average strength, impressive pain tolerance, and
Oh no, turn
considerable skill
around.
with
Turn
knives.
around.
Throughout the series,
Turn around.
Ghostface has
No.
overpowered police
Turn
officers,
around.
athletes, security
There's no
personnel,
way you're that
and
drunk
physically
off of a
larger
beer.
opponents. They frequently survive gunshot wounds, stab wounds, blunt force trauma, and severe injuries long enough to continue pursuing.
I bet he wouldn't survive having his head cut off. I bet you that. Hey, look, when it comes to survival, I am brutal. I am brutal. So, don't look at me weird. Just know, I would be the one surviving. I'm the video game girl. I'm the one who wins.
Victims. Some versions even wear body armor beneath the costume, making them far harder to stop than they initially appear. That being said, Ghostface does have
Okay,
weaknesses.
body armor
Ghostface is
is like,
ultimately
okay,
human.
that's a
They
bad
make
one. That's a bad
mistakes, they
one.
trip, they get distracted, they
It
can
would
be
suck
injured,
if he had
restrained,
on body
shot,
armor and I
and
shot
killed.
him and then he
In
didn't
fact,
stop.
many Ghostface killers ultimately lose because of their overconfidence, arrogance, or simply underestimating their victims. If you know who you're dealing with and have time to prepare, your odds are significantly higher than against most supernatural slashers.
I think this is gonna be a medium. I think this is gonna be like a medium. Wait, high? Why is it high? I feel like you have a pretty good chance. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? I wonder if the creeper is gonna be here. Oh, Jason? Okay. Yeah, no, you're not surviving Jason, basically. Yeah,
Jason
this one is an
Voorhees from
extreme
Friday the
diff.
13th represents a
Wait, it depends on which Jason you're talking about. All of these Jasons are like high to extreme diff. All of these Jasons are like high to extreme diff. But if we're talking about the Jason who is like resurrected, that's like extreme already. And then like if we're talking about Jason X from when he went to space and became a cyborg, that's like special grade Sukuna level diff. Well, I mean, Sukuna could probably take down Jason, but
point where
yeah.
Slasher stops feeling like a human killer and starts feeling like a force of nature. While many horror villains rely on stealth, manipulation, or psychological games,
There is no way you just heard the window break behind you and did not move and turn around. There is no way that happened. You just stood there and waited to be grabbed. And you deserve what happened to you.
Jason's approach is much simpler. He finds you, he follows you, and eventually, he catches you. The terrifying part is that no matter how much punishment he takes along the way, he just keeps coming. Most people recognize Jason by his iconic hockey mask and
Yo,
machete,
Jason is a
but his
revenant.
appearance has changed
He's a
dramatically
revenant.
throughout the franchise. In life, Jason was a
He used to
severely
wear a bag
deformed
over
boy
his
who
head in
drowned
like
at Camp Crystal Lake.
in the second
After
movie. He
returning from
wore a
the
bag over
dead,
his
his
head.
body gradually transformed from a scarred human into a decaying undead revenant. Depending on the film, he appears as a rotting
Oh,
corpse,
he
a
said
heavily
it. He said it. He
decomposed
knows his
zombie, or
horror.
even a
He knows
cybernetically
his horror
enhanced
because
killing
Jaden.
machine in the far
Oh,
future. Despite these changes, one thing remains consistent.
yeah, Jason
Jason is
X.
enormous,
That
standing
one's
well
bad.
over 6 feet tall with a powerful build. He towers over most victims and often looks less like a man and more like a walking tank. What makes Jason
I have never
particularly
seen Jason
frightening is
move
how
that fast.
relentless he is.
I
He
have
doesn't
never
taunt
seen
victims like
Jason
Freddy.
move that
He doesn't
fast.
play games like Ghostface. He rarely even shows emotion. Once someone enters his territory or attracts his attention, Jason becomes completely focused on eliminating them. He will walk through forests, lakes, buildings,
To be fair, the only reason he died was because, and I'm talking about the first time, the only reason he died is because his counselors were too busy fornicating. So, I mean, I get him being mad. I get him
swarms,
being
and
mad.
entire crowds if it means reaching his target. Even
Oh,
when people
by the
believe they've
way,
escaped,
did you
Jason
know
somehow
that Jason's Did you know that Jason's like iconic, uh, that shh shh shh, that like sound effect that plays whenever Jason is like around? Did you know that's actually a super? Did you know that's actually a super reverbed version of like Jason's mom going kill for mommy?
Reappear ahead of them, leading many fans to joke that he can teleport. Whether that's supernatural
In Mortal Kombat X, he can teleport actually.
or simply creative filmmaking, the result is the same. Distance rarely keeps you safe. His physical capabilities are equally terrifying. Jason can punch through
I have
walls,
never
crush
seen
skulls with
Jason
his
move
bare
this
hands,
fast.
rip limbs from bodies, throw grown adults across rooms, and survive injuries that would instantly kill
If
any
Jason
normal
starts
human.
running, it's over for
Bullets,
everyone.
knives, axes, fire, electrocution, explosions, or even being
Cut off his
submerged for
head.
years have all failed
Cut
to
off his
stop him
head.
permanently. Once Jason became undead, his durability reached a level where conventional weapons became little more than
Oh
temporary
god.
inconveniences. And unlike many slashers who have a preferred method of killing, Jason is remarkably adaptive.
Bury
A
him in
machete may
concrete.
be his signature weapon,
Give
but
him
throughout the
concrete
franchise,
shoes
he has
like the
killed people with
mafiosos used
practically
to do.
anything he can get his hands on. Tools, weapons, furniture, environmental hazards, machinery, even sleeping bags. If an object exists nearby, Jason
Oh
can
yeah, I
probably find a
remember
way to
that. He
turn it
like
into a murder
people were in
weapon.
sleeping
That
bags
makes
and then he
planning
just picked up
against it
the bags and
incredibly
like
difficult
flung
because
them
there's
against
no single
trees.
attack pattern to
That was
anticipate.
brutal.
That being said, Jason isn't completely without weaknesses. His attachment to his mother has been exploited multiple times, and certain individuals have successfully manipulated him by impersonating Pamela Voorhees. He also seems to avoid harming children and animals, showing that some fragments of humanity still remain buried beneath the monster. But those rare weaknesses don't change the reality facing most victims. The overwhelming majority never get close enough to exploit them before Jason reaches them first.
If Jason starts using a gun, it's over for humanity. This is a high def. I know this is a high def. Yeah, high def. Alright, let's see who's next. I really want the creeper to be on his list. I really want the creeper to be. But who's that? Oh, Leatherface? Oh, I mean, Leatherface isn't that much of
Leatherface
a
from the
threat. I'm
Texas
gonna say he's
Chainsaw
like a
doesn't
medium
possess
diff.
magical powers or impossible abilities, but it
I
doesn't
would
make
say
him
he's
any
a
less
medium diff.
terrifying. In many ways, Leatherface is
He's just
scary
like a
because he
super
feels
strong guy
real.
who's not
He's a
smart.
massive, unstable killer.
Fun fact, fun fact. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on a real thing that happened, so in a weird way he is kind of real. Or he
Living in the
was.
middle of nowhere with a family that's just as dangerous as he is. And if you wander into his territory, there's a very good chance that you're never coming back out. Standing well over 6 feet tall and suffering from acromegaly, Leatherface is an imposing figure even before you factor in the chainsaw. His enormous size, brute strength, and intimidating appearance make him look more like a monster than a man. Covering his face are masks crafted from the skin of his victims,
Nothing a
each one
couple bullets
reflecting a
won't
different
fix.
aspect of his fractured personality. Combined with his blood-stained clothes,
Oh yeah. We do have different variations of Leatherface. We have Killer, we have Butcher, and we have my personal favorite, Pretty Lady. In MKX, Pretty Lady was my favorite like version of Leatherface to play, which is weird because I don't typically like zoners, but yeah, no, I just love Pretty Lady.
and roaring chainsaw, the result is one of the most unsettling appearances in horror history. What separates Leatherface from many other slashers is that he isn't purely evil in the traditional sense. Beneath the violence is a mentally
He
unstable
just doing what
individual
his
who
family
has spent
wants.
his entire life under the influence of an abusive and
Wait,
cannibalistic
aren't they
family.
cannibals though? I'm
Depending
pretty
on the
sure.
film,
Yeah,
he
they are.
often
Yeah.
behaves more like a frightened, confused animal than a calculated murderer. He experiences fear, panic, attachment, and even affection. However, none of those traits make him any less dangerous. If anything, they make him more unpredictable, because his reactions are often driven by emotion rather than logic. And once Leatherface decides you're an intruder, things get very bad very
Emotional.
quick.
Dark,
Leatherface
dark,
often attacks with
dark.
overwhelming speed and brutality.
You wouldn't get that reference if you never seen the old TV show Loiter Squad with like Tyler the Creator.
His most famous kills happen within seconds. A single strike from his hammer can incapacitate someone instantly, while a
Oh,
chainsaw can
that's
turn even a
Butcher.
minor
That's
mistake into
Butcher.
a fatal injury. His
And
preferred
then
tactic is
Chainsaw is Killer.
simple: overwhelm the victim before they even understand what's happening. By the time most people realize they're
Wait,
in
are we not
danger,
gonna get the
they're already
Pretty Lady
trapped inside his
variation? I want
territory.
the Pretty Lady
Another major
variation.
problem is that you're rarely dealing
That's
with
Killer.
Leatherface alone. The Sawyer family functions almost like a hunting pack. While Leatherface serves as the primary threat, other family members frequently assist in
Just drop a
capturing,
ballistic on
tormenting,
them.
and disposing of victims.
Like,
Even
their
if you
house is
somehow
only
manage
so
to
big,
evade
you can just
Leatherface
drop a
himself,
ballistic.
you may still find yourself surrounded by people actively helping him. That makes escaping much harder than simply outrunning one killer. Physically, Leatherface is far
So then, we bring 2 guns.
stronger than most normal humans. He can break bones, overpower multiple victims, smash through obstacles, and continue fighting despite severe injuries. Throughout the franchise, he survives gunshot wounds, stab wounds, burns, chainsaw injuries,
Okay, but did
vehicle
they shoot him in the
impacts,
head?
and numerous other forms of trauma that would
Gotta
put
shoot him
most
in the
people out
head.
of
Shoot him
action.
in the head
While he
and
can
then cut
certainly
off
be
his head.
killed,
I'm
actually
pretty
doing
sure
so
that would do
before
it.
he reaches you is far easier said than done. Leatherface does have one
I
important
mean,
weakness.
he's
He's
not the
still human.
fastest.
He
Wait,
can bleed, he can be
are y'all
injured, he can
recording
be
him?
outsmarted. Victims have escaped him
Hopefully
before,
I'm at
and
the back
determined
of the group
individuals with weapons stand
because,
a legitimate chance of fighting back.
yeah.
If you're armed, aware of the danger, and able to stay calm, survival is possible.
I say mid-diff. Alright, let's see. Please be the creeper. Please be the creeper. Nope, Michael. So you can deal with him,
For
it's
a
just
slasher whose entire
realizing
reputation
where
is
he
built
is.
around being human, Michael Myers is disturbingly difficult to explain. On paper, he's just a man wearing overalls and a white mask. Yet throughout the Halloween franchise, he repeatedly
Oh
survives
wait,
injuries,
wasn't he
performs feats
like
of
a
strength that
demonic
should be
cult baby at
impossible,
some
and
point?
appears almost
Like, at
supernatural in
some
the
point
way
in the
he
movies,
stalks
it
his
revealed he was a
victims.
demonic,
That's why many
like,
characters
cult
don't refer
baby.
to him as a man at all. They call him the Shade, something that looks human, but isn't quite human anymore. Michael's story begins on Halloween night in 1963, when at only 6 years old, he brutally murdered his older sister Judith without any apparent motive. Afterward, he simply
Well,
stood
she was
outside
being
holding a
naughty.
knife,
She was being
showing no
naughty.
emotion, no remorse,
She
and
was having
offering no
relations with her
explanation.
boyfriend.
He would spend the
And
next
Michael didn't
15
like
years
that.
confined to a mental institution where Dr. Samuel Loomis attempted to understand him. What Loomis eventually concluded was there was nothing behind Michael's eyes except pure evil. Physically, Michael isn't as impressive as Jason Voorhees or as
Why did you
grotesque
give
as
him back the
Leatherface.
mask?
He
Why would you
typically
give him
appears as
that?
a tall man, wearing mechanic overalls, black boots, and his iconic white mask. Yet that simplicity is exactly what
You know what's funny? That mask is actually, I can't remember who the guy is from Star Trek, but like one of the main guys from Star Trek, that mask that Michael Myers wears is actually like his face, but they like did some stuff to it to make it look like different. But yeah, Michael Myers' mask is a guy from Star Trek.
makes him so
Fun fact.
unsettling. There are no scars on display, no dramatic costume, no monstrous features, just a blank, expressionless face staring back at you. The mask strips away any humanity he may have had and turns him into something that feels more like a living embodiment of death than a person. Most killers attack when they see an opportunity. Michael studies people. He watches from a distance. He follows routines. He learns habits. And when he
Oh
finally
lord.
strikes, it's
Oh
often
lord.
hours or even
Wait,
days
was
of
she still
stalking.
alive?
Victims
Were you
frequently
just
catch brief
alive watching
glimpses of
him
him
do that?
standing in the distance, only for him to disappear moments later. This constant surveillance creates an overwhelming sense of paranoia, because once Michael becomes interested in you, there's a very real chance he's already watching long before you realize it. And despite
The thing is though, if you know Michael is watching you, you can legitimately just get yourself arrested and be safe from him forever.
rarely speaking or showing emotion, Michael possesses a surprisingly
No, you will
intelligent and
have to deal with
calculated
like
mind.
prison
He
stuff,
carefully
but
stages bodies,
I
creates
mean
disturbing
trade-offs.
displays, and uses psychological warfare to terrify survivors. Throughout the franchise, he repeatedly demonstrates tactical thinking, setting traps, ambushes, and manipulating his environment to maximize fear. He isn't simply killing people, he's creating horror. Then there's the problem of actually
Wait, did he
stopping
stab
him.
him in the
Michael
armpit?
possesses immense strength, allowing him to lift grown adults off the
My aunt
ground,
also loves
breaking through
Halloween too.
walls, crush bones, and overpower
I kinda
multiple
tapped
opponents
out
with
after
ease.
Halloween
His
H2O
durability is
20 years
equally
later.
absurd. He survived
But
gunshots,
Halloween is still pretty
stabbings,
good.
burns, falls, explosions, vehicle impacts, and countless other injuries that would instantly kill a
Wait, how
normal
did he get
person.
inside?
In several timelines,
How
he
did he
even
get
demonstrates
inside?
regenerative abilities,
How?
recovering from injuries that should permanently disable him.
There's no
While
way.
different
Oh
versions of
god.
Michael vary
Oh
in
god.
power, almost all share the same terrifying trait. They simply refuse to stay down. Unlike Freddy Krueger, Michael doesn't need dreams. Unlike Ghostface,
Alright, so go into a back alley where there's only one entrance and one exit, and then when Michael shows up, you shoot him with a bazooka. There is no way he's surviving that. And I'm pretty sure bazookas are legal in America. Because Americans can have tanks, so I'm pretty sure you can have a bazooka.
He doesn't need a disguise. Unlike Leatherface, he doesn't need his family. He only needs time. And eventually everyone runs out of time. So could you survive Michael Myers? If you're lucky enough to escape his attention entirely, maybe. If he chooses you as a target, however, your chances begin dropping rapidly.
Wait, what if I
Michael has
move
spent
to
decades
like
proving that locked
India?
doors, firearms,
What if I
police
move to like
intervention,
India?
and even
There's no way
determined
he's gonna be able
survivors
to
are
follow me to
often little
India.
more than temporary obstacles. And even determined survivors are often little more
Because
than
think about it,
temporary
like how is he gonna
obstacles.
get
The
on a
only
plane
thing
without
more
anybody
frightening than
realizing that
seeing
it's him?
Michael Myers standing at the end of the street is looking away for a second and realizing he's gone.
I wouldn't call him extreme death. I wouldn't call him extreme death. I wouldn't call him extreme death. As long as you have a
So after
weapon,
looking at some of
I
the
wouldn't call
most
him extreme
infamous
death.
slashers in horror history, one thing becomes pretty clear.
Wait, we didn't get to
Surviving
the
these killers
creeper?
is
There's no
about a
creeper
lot
on
more than
here?
simply running away.
Ah.
Some, like Ghostface and Leatherface, are technically human and can be stopped. But even then, they rely on fear, surprise, and overwhelming violence to stack the odds heavily in their favor. Others go far beyond human limitations. Michael Myers refuses to stay down. Jason Voorhees shrugs off injuries that would kill anyone else. Chucky keeps finding ways to come back.
Well, Jason
And
is a
Freddy
revenant,
Krueger removes the one thing every
and
person
Chucky
eventually
is basically
needs:
a
sleep.
cursed spirit.
What makes these slashers so terrifying isn't just their body count, it's the fact that each of them attacks from a different angle. Some stalk you, some manipulate you, some hunt you relentlessly, and some don't even need to enter the real world to kill you. No matter how prepared you think you are, every one of these killers has found ways to overcome victims who believed they had a plan. And honestly, that's why they've remained horror icons for decades. They're not just murderers, they're nightmares that refuse to die.
Well,
But
some will just
anyways,
stay
let me
dead.
know down below which slasher you
Yeah,
think
some
would be
won't
the
just stay
absolute
dead.
hardest to survive. And if there are any horror
Well, alright, we're at the end of the video, so you already know the deal. This was a good one, and I wanted to do a horror video because I love horror movies. But, yeah, originals in the description below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and, that other way. Later, losers. KuroKumo out.